Hey, good morning. Good morning to you today. I'm Jason with Jason Carey Guitar, and I wanted to welcome you to another wonderful morning ritual for guitar growth right here at Jason Carey Guitar. This happens every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we are starting with 60 beats per minute every morning, like every other morning. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for being here, my friend. And let's see where we are. Let's see what we're doing today. We may continue. Good morning, Robbie. Good morning, Robbie. How are you? Sky, Mr. Tortorello. Good morning, everybody. Today we're looking at sunshine and 70s today, so this should be a pretty good morning. As you know, we meet in the mornings and we work on tuning our minds, tuning our bodies, tuning our souls to serving the greater good, to serving something bigger than ourselves. And I like to do this. I like to start this every morning through intentional movement, and that precedes this. Usually 5 a.m. is usually that for me, for anywhere like a 20-minute to a 40-minute or an hour sort of session, and then I get warmed up physically and mentally and work on my breath that really precedes this. So I like to take a moment though to transition from that into this, where I'm providing myself with continuity of breath. So I know this is again, this is for some, this is for many, but it won't be for all. But I do have good news. The good news is I have the guitar A string already tuned to 440. So if you need to grab your A string, if you need to take a minute to grab your guitar, we're going to go ahead and tune up, and we're going through the morning ritual for guitar growth. Good morning, Sky. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Jill. Bourgeois. Sky Animates out on the front porch practicing in the sun. Amen, brother. Yeah, that's great. Brother or sister, brothers and sisters, guitar for everyone. Good morning. Glad you could make it. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Justin. And nice move, Sky. Off the road this week, back on the road next week. All right, so while we have everyone here, I'm going to just start out with, I'm assuming you got your A. We'll go ahead and go through the tuning sequence. I just love the sound of that flat 7 and that major 6. The G string needs a little attention this morning. I feel like I might make a few notes this morning about what I've been working on and where I'm going. So if you're interested at all in a copy of those notes, you just let me know. We're just going to work on stepping it up a little bit here. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, and everything is good in the world. I mean, here we go. I'm setting my intention now, and I invite you to do that too. Just to think that here's a guitar session I really want. I look forward to coming to this every morning and getting with this. I'm still so giddy, excited that this is even a possibility for me to do every day, that I can't wait to get here and just spend the day in music and in service to something bigger than my own person and connect with that. So while I set my intention, if you would like to set yours, if something for you, something, maybe it's a life thing, maybe it's just you want to get through this morning ritual and get on with the next part of your life, that's great too. So whatever your intention is, so it's now set, maybe, and we'll go ahead and start with a little bit of the old familiar. Okay, so fingers, if you're new here, we're starting with fingers 3 and 4 on 11 and 12. 60 beats per minute, 4 attacks per beat. Opie Taylor, Bill, good morning, Opie. A random guy, 775. Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. Yeah, amen, brother. Here we go, Mark. Got your coffee rolling. Smash the like button. If you're here and you haven't done so yet, if you wouldn't mind double tapping that screen or smashing that like button. If you're here, grab your guitar, stick around. You're going to love what's coming. So 1 E and a 2, fingers 3 and 4, go. And I'm using my little blue Jim Dunlop pick today. It's probably a 1.0 millimeter or something like that. It could be a thinner pick. I like something that's not going to tear the electric guitar strings apart. These are 9s, 9 to 46 or something like that on this guitar. So I don't really need to be busting the strings off the sun gun. Good morning, Mark. Oh yeah, let's work on that a little bit today. Let's work on chord transitions and the theory behind that. That kind of dovetails nicely with what I hope to share today. Today is a revelational day. It's a day of revelation. 1 E and a 2 and a 2 and 3, 11, 12. Here we go. Let's run some neck. The late great Peter Johnson used to say that, yeah. Let's go, let's run some neck together. And it's okay if you want to add movement. Movement in many cases can add value to our rhythmic picture. It may not be something that we want to do in front of an audience. Let's say, someone streaming a morning ritual for guitar growth. Maybe that's okay, Maybe you work it into part of your stage gimmick, who knows? I remember the two guys, Fish, Trey, and Mike, they would stand on the front of the stage and bounce on trampolines rhythmically within the scope of the song. And it always seems to be a crowd pleaser when they break out the trampolines, doesn't it? So 1 E and a 2 and a T E and a 4, fingers 1 and 2, 11 and 12. And if you are here, you are in the right place. You found our morning kickstart. It's a morning ritual. This ritual is designed specifically for personal betterment and growth, but it also is for guitar growth. So the most important part of this, for me, the takeaway every morning is to warm up my fingers so that I growl like a lion, I growl like a bear, roar like a lion with the guitar if I want. And I know the dynamic range is very great on the electric instrument. So I want to be sure to practice using and explore the entire range of expression on the guitar, even though I'm working on simple, seemingly simple warm-up patterns. So we're going to continue our work. I hope to get to Fade to Black today and continue along on our transcription. I hope to work on some pentatonicism and help unlock some problematic areas that for guitar players in unfamiliar pentatonic positions. So stick around, we'll work that into chord progression and movement, okay? 1 E and 2 fingers, 3 and 4, 10 and 12. So we're getting started with the finger stretches. This is particularly interesting to me because I've been reworking through or reapproaching the late, great Ted Green's book, Chord Chemistry. And I'm enjoying working through the book page by page, word by word, and chord by chord. We're currently in chapter, section 8 of the book, chord reference charts. Don't forget to breathe. And some of those chords get really stretchy. They get so stretchy that I thought it might be a good idea to incorporate daily practice into, a daily stretch practice before I start even playing the guitar. So this is in part motivated by the late great Ted Green, our guitar mentor that we still maintain access to. So fingers 2 and 3 on 10 and 12. 1 E and a 2 A Lex, E and a 4. Hey, Halcyonic. Leonardo. Blessings, brother. Yeah, Morales. Blessings to you. Good morning, Caillou, or Halcyonic. McReal. God bless Donald Jesus. That's funny. And Lex, good morning. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know we certainly did. Got some fencing up for the dogs so that they don't get into the rhubarb bush. They like to mark all of the items, all of the physical locations on the property, and anywhere really, they like to mark as their own. So I like to demarcate that rhubarb and other things as my own. So here's 1 and 2, stretching 1 and 2, 10 and 12. 1 E and a 2 and a, here we go. And 1, 2, T, 4. 1, 2, T, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1. Let's try to demarcate 1 as the loudest dynamic level, and then systematically let it sort of diminish as we get further away from 1, and there's a little pulse on 1. I think we've accomplished our object. Let's start with fingers 2 and 4, and we'll continue 9 and 12, 1 E and a 2. Welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. This happens every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's free. I'm here all 2025. I think that we're into episode 80 something, high 80s this week. We'll be turning 100, I think, next week or the week after. So we will have our 100th episode. So you'll want to be sure and lock in for that one. But it's every weekday morning at 7:30. Pretty simple place to be. Now we're starting with finger style. Sometimes we lead with the pick. I've had a couple of challenging weeks with fingernails, so I've had to get back in touch with the pick for the last few weeks. But my fingernails for my picking hand are coming back. 1 E and 2 fingers, 1 and 3, 9 and 12. I went ahead without you Saturday and Sunday morning. That's cool, man. Any findings? Any new findings? I wouldn't mind hearing some feedback. Like if you're here, I know that several of us are here actually playing the guitar during this sequence. Does anyone care to share like any thoughtful sort of response as to how you're doing with the morning ritual as we're 4 months in, almost 5 months in here. We're almost halfway through the year, gang. This is pretty wild stuff. Can you please play blues? Hey, Peepo, good morning. Yeah, if you stick around, that might come toward the end. Right now, what you've stumbled yourself into is a really great, in my opinion, and in the opinion of some others, is a morning ritual for guitar growth. So what we're doing is super important for the remainder, setting the remainder of the day with the guitar. So that's what I'm doing here, is just warming up. And it's been, I'm just going to make a note. Actually, you can see that I use my guitar as a table. This is of course, it's all backwards. It says write, play, repeat. What does this say? A guitarist's notebook. And a custom workbook for songwriting, tab, and chord chemistry. It's Jason Carey guitar production, and so it's got a little note on it that says, before I stretch here, there's a note here that says, I created this book as a blank canvas for all the things that matter to us as players. Okay, riffs, licks, songs, chords, solos, ideas, and dreams. So it'll be likely that whether you're and so I continue to say, and I won't continue on any further than this, but whether you're jotting down a melody from your head or copying a line from a YouTube video, this is your space to grow. At least it's my space to grow. So what I like to do is I like to journal some of my notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some notes about today. I'm going to start with the date, which is it's January, February, March, April. So the 4th month, the 28th day of 2025. So I'm starting here. I want to make a note that I wanted to start talking today about pentatonic problematic issues. Pentatonic problems, and then we'll go ahead and a colon here, and then write the word solved or solving, because this is an act that continues for a long time. I'll come back to this in a minute. We're starting with just a quick stretch. Oh, that's pretty cool. I am me. Good morning. Music is where we go when we are done here. That's pretty interesting. That's a wonderful sentiment. I must be done here a lot because I find music an awful lot. Hey, Raul. Good morning, Raul. Guten Tag. If only all the ears would hear. Yeah, yeah, if I played it on a harp with golden strings, maybe then they would hear, right? Yes, my experience has been starting my days with positive intention has made a big difference throughout my day. Oh, yeah, amen, brother. Yeah, just something simple like a smile. It's a constant pleasure that touches all aspects of my life and has greatly improved my ability to practice on my own and has increased my dexterity. That's wonderful to hear. This is all from Morning Ritual. This is all, well, I mean, it's not all a product of Morning Ritual. Obviously, there's a certain amount of desire that we have to make the choices to do the thing, and obviously you're doing that. But showing up is just a hard, it's the hardest, one of the hardest things to, if you're editing a pattern, if you're adding something new as a guitar player, or maybe you're just becoming a guitar player like me, you're in the state of becoming all the time, perpetual becoming. It's just so important to just get here and sit down and do the thing. So we're good. The exercises help with playing clap and hot dog. Oh, that's right. Yeah, right on. Now you're talking. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Eric Clapton blues. Yeah, have you heard his, I think it's called Journeyman record. And there's another band here that I know that has just recently released an album called Journeyman. But if you haven't heard Clapton's Journeyman record, you ought to do that. Also check out Denim Dennis's Journeyman album. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Mark. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at fingers 1 and 4 on 7 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a you know what to do E and a. Thank you, Caillou, Halcyonic. Your approach is very useful. I'm glad to be useful. Since starting these activities every morning, my dexterity has improved my finger strength. I still can't always keep up with everything, but I'm working on it. Sharing these on Parlor in the morning has gotten me a good number of followers. Oh yeah, right on, man. Showing up 90%. Yeah, it's a huge part of it, isn't it? Just getting there. Journeyman. Yeah, check it out. It's they went through the engineers from that album. They went through like this painstaking process of using all of the period blues mics and period blues recording techniques, and the record sounds so amazing and it hits so hard. So if you're a Clapton fan and you haven't gotten that album yet, you'll certainly enjoy it. Terry, good morning. Stairway to Heaven, you got it. We'll get into that stuff later. 1 E and 2 fingers, 2, 3, and 4, 10, 11, and 12. We're almost through our chromatic style warm-ups. We're getting there. We're going to overlook the diagonal pattern today and jump directly into another approach as soon as we graduate to becoming 4-fingered guitar players again. Hey Terry, thanks for being here, and certainly thank you for the compliments. If you wouldn't mind, you can like this, smash the like button, grab your guitar, you can join us, and I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can find me here every weekday morning for the entirety of 2025. Emery Randall, that's a nice guitar. What is it? It's a Telly style guitar. And it's blonde, or whatever you call this color. It's probably trademarked and I'll get pinched for saying the words, and I don't know. But it's a cool guitar. I appreciate it. It's got one of the appeals for me is that it has a handmade leather pick guard. Fingers O, moving right along. 1 and 2 and 3, 10, 11, and 12. Here we go. Don't forget to breathe. That's right. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. So part of what, ear training is coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're really going to start getting serious about this. We're really going to start. We only have like 6 or 7 months left of this, so we're going to have to kick it into high gear at some point, and it's coming sooner than later, because if you're here, you're here, and if you're not here, well, maybe you'll wiggle your way in later on. But now we have basically committed the bulk of who all is going to be here, I think, for the year. Maybe we'll have some additional growth here and there, but ear training is going to become a huge part of morning ritual. So singing something in tune and in key while you're playing a completely unrelated key on the guitar is useful. Yeah. It's really powerful to be able to sing something in key, in an unrelated key. And then, of course, when you apply that to a song that's in the key it's written in, that song becomes stronger, it becomes fortified with confidence, and all of those abilities that you have gained from doing exercises like that seem, whimsical, maybe nonsensical, but they're all valuable. You look at one page of Ted Green's chord chemistry, any page in section 8, let's say, and every one of those chord voicings has an inversion. So you're just working through the whole book, but every one of those chords has alternatives and inversions, and he works through most of those inversions, but we don't get all of them. There's just always a lot more to the picture than what is stated up front, right? Reading between the lines, maybe. So Jason's covers always have an upper hand on the others. Thank you, Marco. Man, Marco, you're definitely working to endear a person like me. Oh yeah, saying all of the things that I like to hear said, Fortunately for me, I've been around the horn long enough to know that, and that I don't feel like I need that sort of extrinsic motivator, but I certainly do appreciate that, and we don't hear those kinds of things enough. And the fact that you're willing to share that kind of thing in a live chat publicly is really cool. It's better to build up than to knock down. It's better to help than it is to hinder, but if there's a problem and I'm not aware of it, I'll never change the problem. So I do enjoy constructive criticism as well, and hope you do too. I'm a lifelong pianist and guitarist in Nashville. Hey, Nashville's in the house. Yeah, right on. Do you know Marshall Moody down there? Marshall's a wonderful friend down there. I have a few friends in Nashville. You see Steve Earle just got, he's a member of Steve Earle just got a really great award, you know? He's a part of the Ryman now, right? Or whatever, the Grand Ole Opry member. Really cool. Glad to have you here, Emery. And so let's go ahead and start with fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And here we go. 1 E and a 2. There we go. So if I counted off and I stop counting, you can still count. Once the counting starts, it's like there's no stopping it. You know, the count off, everyone's going to hit on 1. Or if it's the E or the and of 1, everyone's going to hit on 1. If we say 1, 2, bang is the start, right? And if you are a studio recording artist, you know that it's dangerous business to use the entire count off because you always get a syllable or some kind of reverb on the recording. I'm going to have to add some more hours of practice for that next gear. It's important to talk about goal setting. Morning hotbox, Bob. Did I miss something? Oh, hotbox Bobby. All right. There we go. I did miss something. Need some like button. Oh, hey, Sky's correct. We definitely need some like buttons, some smashing of the like button. Yeah, that's nice. Thank you. And we're coming back up to the place from whence we came, position number 9, and we will stop there. Start with finger 4 stretch. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a fo E and a... Excuse me. Start again. 1 E and a 2, T E and a 4. 9, 10, 11, and 13. That's right. All the frets that you know and love so well, we're visiting each one. It's like a beautiful family Sunday afternoon. We're just making the rounds, going house to house or fret to fret, just to say a quick hello. Maybe get a cup of coffee or a nice lemonade or an iced tea. Maybe some soup was on. The kettle's definitely on, and these visiting hours are going. They're going strong. So we're in position number 3, coming up here. And we've got a 4-finger stretch that we are nurturing. Then we're going to just keep doing this and get that program under the fingers. Anybody working on anything like cool? I mean, any songs? Anybody working on any songs? Yeah, that's funny, area. Yeah, I like that. I feel like that usually most of the time. Hey, Japan in the house. Ohio. Good morning. The Emery Randall Project, it was made by friends, and when I was homeless here, the song Streets is the song that got me off the streets. Ironic, but true. That's a wonderful story. That's a great story, man. All kinds of permutations, anything you can think of, it's probably fair game. So 1, 2, T, 4. If you're just tuning in, we're using the first finger as the kickstand here, jumping and dropping it back, and just getting a good first finger stretch going this morning on the 1, 2, 3, 4 finger grouping. Oh, hoochie coochie. There you go. So you've been listening. You've been listening to the old Eric Clapton Journeyman album? I'm going to shorten this thing up here. I'm going to shorten up my pitch, my picks, my attacks. I'm not really going to shorten up my attacks, but I'm going to make everything staccato. And to maintain good tone, that changes a bunch of things for me. You can hear loudness and softness shifts, which are not intentional. I'm trying to get these all to be the same dynamic level, the sound pressure level. Now long tones to finish off. Let's do one more, but this time we'll start with we didn't do really any like the 3-finger patterns. Like, let's just run through 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 4. Ready? 1, fingers 1 and 2 and 4, 9 and 10 and 12. 1 and 2 and T and go. Every finger is lining up. As I finish one string, the next finger is running point. You can see the 4th finger is running point, getting to the next string before all of the other fingers conform and follow suit. And on the descending pattern, on the ascending pattern, the 1st finger is always running ahead. You can see how it's important to keep continuity. After this, we'll complete fingers 1 and 2 and 1 and 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and do 1 and 3 and 4. And then we're going to talk about some pentatonicism, solving some problems. We're also going to do that on top of a chord progression where we wanted to start transitioning from the G chord to the C chord quickly and effectively. So if you're just tuning in, to welcome you to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason from Jason Carey Guitar, and I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're always working some form of 60 beats per minute just to get us up and out of bed and playing the guitar. Just kickstart the day. Good. All right. All right, let's take a look at what I'm talking about with. Let's move from the G chord. So the G chord is a number of things to me. It's a triad with G, B, D, right? G, B, D. If you know the hello, 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 the Three Stooges, that's the triad, the major triad. Or Mike and the Mechanics, you know, in the living years, you know, there's sing it loud, sing it clear, right? Good stuff, really cool stuff. But we're starting, we don't really need all of the notes. All of the notes from the G chord, you know, we could just kind of play, you know, a handful of them at a time. What is that? Oh, yeah, Cliffs of Dover, right. Okay, so it could be just parts of the G. So I've got a G note here, fret 5 on the D string, fret 4 on the G string. So I have 2 notes, and I know that if I use 2 notes from that C chord, I could play Hey Ben. Hey Emery. Yeah, nice to have you here, man. Good luck to you too. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Okay, so I'm looking at fret number 5. And then 5 on the 2 middle strings, so that's G, or that's C. So I'm using the G and the C chord here. And I could change from, hey Ben, good morning. From Bernie, good morning. And then we have the G chord here, which is fret 5 on the G, on the D string, fret 4 on the G string. So I have a G and a B. So we're playing dyads, or 2-note chords. So I could start and then 1, 2, 3, G moves to C. Keeping this pretty simple, so I'm just counting 4 and then changing from G to C. But it all starts for me with the G chord, and then letting 4 beats go by. What I really wanted to talk about today was the usage of the major pentatonic scale. We're starting with, let's see, so we're moving from G. I'm going to start up here because I wanted to use this particular pattern today. It's not a really comfortable pattern for any of us to begin with. But just like, moving goods for miles and miles with using sticks and ropes on our backs, we eventually figure that, the more we have time to travel and carry these loads or carry these thoughts, eventually we refine our travel so that we have a wheel to put to burden instead of our own persons, right? So that approach for me can't happen unless I sit here and notate. Like, I have to notate what's going on. So this is huge for me. So a pentatonic problem solved would be, let's say I'm going from G chord, which is frets 5 and 4, and I'm using a whole note to count 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, one attack per beat. And then I'm transitioning from that to frets 5 and 5 on the 2 middle strings to C. So I'm moving from G to C. Literally, that's it's really basically G major, G root and 3, and then for the C chord it's 5 and 1. And it's so simple, but unless I write it down, so I can't think of other, writing these things down and composing my thought process will help to lead me to new areas. And the cool thing about it is I have a journal along the way of my thought process. So what if I just move that root and 3 around, or the root and 3, so now I'm looking for another place to play the root and 3, and I know if I play the root and 3, I don't have to play it on G. I can play the root and 3 using a C chord, and I'll plug that into the second measure so that it's still going to be the same chord progression in the next 2 bars. But I'm using root and 3, so I'm using frets 10 and 9 on the 2 middle strings for that C, which is the root and 3, same shape that we used on G. And then I'm using the 5th and the root for G5, which is 12 and 12 on the 2 middle strings. So that simple notion just unlocked something for me. It just unlocked something for me. So now I'm moving from someplace known, from G here on fret 5 on the D and fret 4 on the G, and then to C. And then I'm also placing myself on notice that I can do the same 2 shapes inverted. Instead of using that for C, I can use that for G. And then I move down to 10 and 9. So I'm using that same shape that I used for G. So G chord here on 2 middle strings, then 3, 4, and then G, 2, 3, 4, and then C. And by orchestrating it like this on the 2 middle strings, I maintain tonal quality. I don't introduce any B string. I don't brighten the tone. The texture stays the same. If I remember where to place my fingers, see. So just using dyads gives the bass player, if you're writing, especially if you're writing songs with a band or with a collaborator or another instrumentalist, it opens up. The more simple the guitar line can be, the more others may contribute to the construction of the pie. So here's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to get to G major pentatonic, because this is a really challenging thing to get fast. Especially this pattern and shapes like this, because they're heavily dependent on the weakest links. The weakest link on the left hand, on my fretting hand, is likely the third and fourth finger. So the weakest links where we need to do the most work. And if you start coaching soccer, youth soccer, you quickly find out about weak links and how to build and how to help instead of hinder. So here's the root note. Ten, 12 on the A string, 9, 12 on the D string, 9, 12 again on the G string. Don't get excited now. So we're starting, moving from G to A, 10 on the B, 10 and 12 on the B, 10 and 12 on the high E string. But my ears always, at least for this exercise, want to make it back. We want to start from the root note and make it back to the root note. Hey, Mad Hatter, good morning. Working on patternizing and establishing a sense of velocity. So here's the trick. We're moving back and forth between the dominant or the root note, the tonic, and the subdominant. So this is a great opportunity for us to start talking about playing changes. playing over G, I'm playing that chord, or that chord, or this chord, and I'm playing C, I'm playing this chord, or this chord, and then I'm playing C major pentatonic, same shape, but on position number 2, so that I have when I'm playing C chord, I'm going to shift my step. Then when I'm playing over G, I'm playing the G major pentatonic. Now I'm on the C. Oop, I didn't quite make it all the way down to position number 2. So what I'm trying to do is to discipline myself, to limit myself only to those 2 shapes. So for example, I would typically, I always learn how to do these hammer-ons with fingers 1 and 3, but that's not really what this position is dictating for fingering. So I would typically change positions, but I'm going to use my 4th finger to support staying in that 1 or maintaining that position. If I do those Jimi Hendrix style or Danny Gatton style or whatever those licks are, I'm going to be committed to remaining in that position. So that I may just be continuous in my exploration. So I'm going to notate that. That will be my last act for this morning. So I'm going to notate position number 10, and I'm on 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, and that's G major pentatonic. Circled root notes, and then I'm headed down to C, which is on fret number 3, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, same shape, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. And that's it. And then I'm just kind of playing the G major pentatonic over the G and the C major pen over the C's. And then it's just, it's that easy. So if you want those notes, just hit me at Gmail, jasoncareyguitar@gmail.com, and I'll gladly ship those off to you. And you can come and rewatch the last 15 minutes of this session. But if you want the book, it's available on Amazon. It's the Write, Play, Repeat. Go grab it now. It's a good one, and it will change your life as it's changing mine. All right, we'll see you again next time. And thank you, Kevin, for setting the marker. I appreciate it. And let's see. Yeah, chord catastrophe. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think that's probably the least of his regrets, I would think. That's quite an accomplishment, and many people benefit from it still today. So glad to see Anthony got pretty busy there for a minute. It's awesome to see people talking to each other. I love it. And see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming. And until we meet again, I wish you happy picking. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow.